What's up, everybody? I'm here at the 100 Thieves Cash App Compound, looking at the Rocket Mortgage League of Legends training room. I'm Travis Gafford. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. 3 brands on the start of this interview. I'm joined right now by PapaSmithy. So we're actually on the first day of the 100 Thieves Compound, but you guys have been here for a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Just the players have been in here scrimming, practicing, solo queuing, all those sort of things. So it's definitely the public reveal, but we've been getting comfortable so far.
So what did you have any hand in like figuring out what you wanted the training room and all that stuff to look like for the League Pros?
Look, honestly, it was very developed by the time I came on about 3 months ago, but it wasn't feature complete, so they definitely ran me through some of the things we have in there and the setup and stuff like that. The natural light was not something I asked for, but something that's appreciated. Turns out, pro gaming, a lot of time spent inside, but honestly, it's definitely exceeded any expectations I had, for sure.
Well, I was just talking to Ron Jobinson about that, and he was saying, it's funny, we thought, because he said, what do you think? And I said, I like all the natural light in this, because a lot of the gaming facilities tend to be kind of dark. But he said that the pros really liked that, which was funny to me, because I feel like normally League Pros, I've done house tours where they've duct taped posters over the windows to avoid the light, so it's fascinating to me to hear that they like it.
The nice thing is it's tasteful, but it's not like glare on monitors. The glare on monitors is where it all gets to you. At home, I definitely have the shades down sometimes if I want to watch on 2-monitor setup. But like you say, when it's done right, when it is in the middle of the room and it reminds you that there is a great world out there, not just the screen, it's a good thing.
One of the things that was interesting to me is just you guys have so many computers in that training room. I think out of all the facilities I've been to, this one is definitely the biggest and has the most computers. Is that just because you have a larger staff, you think, or what? Because I think there's like 10 in there. So what are they all used for?
The 5 players obviously goes without saying. Head coach, assistant coach, the analyst is also on site in the room at the present. There's a floating seat for me, so I spend probably about 50-50 time between around the team, and then I have a desk on the floor as well where I can pipe in and watch scrims there as well. So I think it's just flexible. And if any of the academy players want to come down and observe and giving them a seat there, it's fit to grow. That's just our team at the moment, but there could still be hirings in the future, right?
What has it been like for you switching over? I mean, obviously, I know you weren't working directly with teams in the LCK, but it's funny to me because I feel like 100 Thieves is a distinctly North American culture style approach to esports, hopefully without the losing, but just even like the vibe and culture of everything, it kind of has embraced streetwear and lifestyle stuff, and I feel like in a way that I haven't really seen the LCK teams do that. So has it been interesting for you transitioning between kind of these 2 different cultures?
Even just simply coming to America, America's very different to Australia and Korea and all the places I've lived over the course of my life. I was looking for a change, though. That was what I wanted. I wasn't looking for another broadcast job. I was looking for a team side offer. And an org like 100 Thieves, the most attractive thing about them is they're really good at a lot of what they do. The League of Legends team last year obviously struggled, but the first year, no one can ever take away that they made worlds at the first time of asking. And surrounding myself by leading people in apparel, leading people in kind of other spheres, it's both exciting as a growth opportunity, but also a bit nerve-wracking because I need to shape up and be able to emulate what they're doing. So when it comes to a future move, being out of my comfort zone, learning something and trying to prove something was a great package.
How much time did you spend thinking about apparel and your wardrobe before you joined 100 Thieves versus now that you're here?
I just dropped a suitcase and I knew that they would look after me. That's all you have to do, right?
No, but I do wonder, I mean, because 100 Thieves, unlike a lot of orgs, sort of looks beyond gaming in a way that others just don't, and the way they've embraced a lot of the entertainment side, a lot of the lifestyle side. Do you get, I don't want to say impacted by that, but how much does that get involved with what you're sort of doing on a day-to-day and how you're approaching your role here as the general manager?
Look, at the end of the day, gaming is a pillar of a lot of people's lives, especially increasingly the young people. But it's not your whole life, right? There are other pillars. So obviously, most people are used to having different pillars in their life. And specifically, when it comes to our experience, yes, there's a content push, but I think I can do a bit of translation between what the content side wants and what the team side wants, because as you can imagine, team wants to focus on practice. They understand the power of branding, but you lose scrims on a day, suddenly branding seems less important. And conversely, the schedules for broadcast and content production are 24 hours a day sometimes and super fiery. So I do my best to mediate between the two. I don't think encouraging content is a bad thing, and I think any way for us to rub elbows with the YouTube creators, with the Counter-Strike Go team and everything like that can only be a good thing. Day on day, we see how the players are feeling it, but I feel like I have a better perspective than most to try to get them to understand that there's opportunity here, even if sometimes it feels like 1 hour away from the game.
Now, obviously, we've seen a lot of other teams create facilities. Is there anything unique to this facility that you can think of that might give you guys a distinct advantage, or something that you think is unique and helps the team in a certain way?
So, I mean, the Cash App compound, compared to a lot of the other facilities and other kind of office areas I've seen around the world traveling, is definitely a very bullish one. It's very large. There's a lot of facilities here. I think the big thing for me that I appreciate is that it does emulate a little bit of the magic of the first split. Because a lot of 100 Thieves League of Legends history, you're thinking about spring, when you're thinking about the good days. And that was when they were in a small house in Venice. The front office team were there, the players were there. Like, that was all of 100 Thieves before it grew into the full apparel line, the multiple esports teams. And the reason why I say that for here is the League of Legends room is kind of the showpiece part of the compound, but everybody's here again. So we're rubbing elbows again, and it's not you're over there siphoned away doing the LCS program, knowing you're a part of something but not feeling it. I think the vibes here of being able to just, walk into nade shots, see Courage doing his thing, have streamers passing through, I think does center you a little bit, and it does bring back a bit of the fun, because during season, I'm sure I'm going to feel that the gray hair continues to come, the stress settles in, and that can be all-consuming. So having a bit of a counterbalance at your footsteps can only be a good thing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it allows me to kind of segue into the season. I don't know, this might get released next week, but we are just a couple days from the start of the split. What do you think fans' expectations should be for the team in the very beginning? Because oftentimes, I know the goal is always to get top 3, first place, worlds, etc. But out the gate, what kind of progress do you think is needed to get the team to where it needs to go?
I think so many teams, especially new teams emerging, like we don't fit that anymore. They're 2 years in, but it's kind of a new dawn, I guess, with me joining. Feel the need to seed ultra confidence that first place or bust is the way. But one of the nice things about coming onto 100 is they've been very amenable to a plan to win championships. And I'm very much of the opinion that you can't snap your fingers and have 3 great domestic players, 2 imports, and hit the ground running from day one. Like, that's something that's just outside of maybe the 2018 franchising start, impossible to simulate. But I am bullish that it's something that can be grown, that something can be aspired to. So I don't feel the need or feel pressured to tell the fans what to expect, because honestly, it's 5 players who weren't on the roster last year. It's a new GM. It's a new coach. There's a lot up in the air. What I will commit to is that wherever we start, whether it's 2-0, 1-1, 0-2, we will review where we've been at. We'll use the minds at our disposal to get better. And it's about the journey for us. The moment that spring season was confirmed to be not about the championship points was where I looked at roster construction as an endpoint rather than a starting point. So I'm ready for the memes. I'm ready for the hot takes. I know how these cycles work, but I'm focused on where it's going to go, and I hope people look at what we're building here. Here's some of the announcements we're going to come out in the next few days, maybe already out by the time this video comes out, and come on the journey with us, because I'm super confident about where it ends, and it ends with hoisting up championships. I don't know exactly how heavy or how big, but let's wait and see.
It's so great to have you in this GM position, because you're able to just verbalize everything so well because of your long-standing experience, and also just the sheer amount of hours and hours and hours you spent talking the past couple of years, holding it down in Korea.
You and I both, right? You and I both. So at the end of the day, like, it's going to be, it's a transition. I'm so nervous, like people don't know this, but before any big broadcast, I'm nervous, but I always am able to settle myself. So like 15 minutes before, I'm a wreck, but a couple of minutes before, I'm like, wait, being nervous is not going to help me tell a story to the fans, to share a vision, to show my true passion. So I'll stop being nervous and I'll try to be awesome. So that's exactly what I'm hoping for this weekend, but it's going to be crazy, because at the end of the day, I'm not the head coach. People are like, oh, I want to see him up there drafting. Like, I'm in the back, and that's close. I'm impacting, but I'm not, I don't have my hands on it. So being close to the 100 Thieves League of Legends success story, a hopeful success story, is both super exhilarating and a bit nerve-wracking.
Well, anything you want to say to any of the 100 Thieves fans out there?
Thank you very much for all of your trust. I think too many people are proclaiming me the next coming of the greatest GM in the world and things like that. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to earn all the people's high expectations. I appreciate you coming on the journey, and it's going to be fun week to week. So please tune in to the LCS and all of our content, and maybe even some of this guy's content too.
Some of it, some of it. Either way, thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that interview. It's so good to be back at the LCS, and I'm really happy to be making content for all of you guys again. It's been a bit. It's been a bit for sure, and so I'm happy to be watching these games. Either way, I want to thank Alienware for sponsoring our coverage. Really appreciate everything that they do. They've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up over the course of this year. I know they've told me, I can't tell you too much, but stuff that they're going to be doing to try to support League esports fans even better than they did last year. So stay tuned for all that. There's a link in the video description, alienware.com/Travis. Check them out. That really helps me out. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because we're trying to get to 200K soon. So hopefully that ends up happening soon.